I hope the sun is shining wherever you are and you are living in your greatest purpose. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all who continue to support the channel in any way. All those who are channel members, subscribers, thank you. I'm going to wait for a couple people to join, y'all. As you're joining, let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hey, Jim. Good to see you. All right, y'all. I have this message and it just couldn't it couldn't wait. Or I feel like many of you may resonate with this message. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the message. Let me know where you're tuning in from as you're tuning in, and I'm also going to share this. Also, if you haven't done so yet, share the live, like the live. Help us definitely get it to get more people to to watch the content. If you resonate with the material of the content, if you resonate with the messages, that's what I meant to say. If you resonate with the messages in any way, like, comment, share, all that stuff. Okay. All right. I'm going to share this. All right, y'all. Okay, so let's get to it. I received a message. Let me see. Oh, my stuff is falling off. My bad. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Sometimes I jot things down so that way I don't forget what I'm gonna say. Hey y'all, let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm just waiting for a couple folks to join the live, y'all. If you see me looking, I'm just looking at my notebook because I jotted down some stuff. Hey y'all, let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay. All right, so I had an experience. It's kind of like an epiphany. I've been having like a lot of epiphanies lately. Epiphanies are just like revelations, where your spirit is speaking to you, and we get those all the time. I want you to know, if you have ever been on this live, if you have ever listened to this channel, like, know that you are divine. Okay? Spirit lives within you. Although you may watch someone on a screen, because and some of you have different reasons why you watch the content. For whatever reason it is, some of you may watch it because the messages really resonate with you, and you see yourself in those messages. So I'm gonna share this with you because I feel like, to some extent, in a weird way, we built not that weird, we built a community, and that's kind of like the direction that things are going now. Like, communities are being built online, y'all. Can y'all believe that? We are truly moving in a time where, like, there are a lot of changes. All right, and I'm still baffled, at the thought that, we are more likely to build communities through a screen than we are in person, and I still kind of like have to wrap my mind around that. Yeah, I know that everything is, happening for a reason, everything is happening as it should. So, okay, so I had an experience the other day and I want to share it with you because there's a lesson in everything. Um, I got up and I don't remember what day this was. What day was it? It could have been sometime last week or something. And I felt like I really wanted to do something different. Like I felt like my body needed like some kind of like regeneration. Like, how sometimes you just feel like your body will tell you exactly what it needs. And for some of you, you've experienced this where it's like, sometimes your body will tell you, okay, don't eat don't eat this type of food, eat that type of food. And hopefully you listen to it. Hopefully you listen to your spirit, your whatever entity is in there telling you that you get to have that. It's always for a reason. So hopefully you're learning to listen. And so, I just had this urge to like create something new, and, for nourishment. And I was about to like make a cup of tea. And I was like, no, that's not what I need right now. Even though I'm used to making, a cup of I'm used to making a cup of tea. But my body was just like, no, that's not what we need right now. That's not what we need. And so I proceeded to make what I really know that my body needed was like fresh raw juice. Okay. Like, raw foods. I know that my body, needed that. And I had some grapefruit and I was about to make, some grapefruit juice, and something was just like, oh, I really want the grapefruit, but it takes so much work. It takes so much energy. Like, and at the same time, I know that's what my body needed, but yet like a part of me was just like, it's too early for this. I don't want to make this, I don't want to, it's just so involved. Like, you're going to have to wash this and that. And then afterwards you got to do this. And then the tea is just so simple. You just put the water and then you put the tea bag and that's it. And, against that feeling of not feeling like I'm up to making the tea, I decided to listen to that internal part of who I am. Okay. Like that physical part was telling me, I don't want to spend all that energy. That's just too much energy. It takes too much energy to be making this juice this early. That's what my mind was telling me. And so I shut that part out that's telling me it's too much work. And I decided to make that juice anyway, which is what my body really needed. And while I was doing this, I kid you not, Spirit was just speaking. And Spirit said, it takes energy. It takes energy to wait. Spirit said, it takes energy to get energy. I was like, what? It takes energy to get energy? The amount of enzymes and nutrients that is in that juice is exactly what I needed at that time. Okay? And I know that because like, if you're someone who is in tune and you're in touch with yourself, you'll know what your body needs. Your body will tell you exactly what it needs. Like some of y'all don't get, like, we literally are living, and I don't even want to call them hospitals. Like we are living, beings, and our bodies come equipped telling us exactly what it needs. And so I decided to listen to that part of me that was like, you know what? Shut that noise out. I know making the tea is a lot more simple, but what you actually need is that fresh raw juice. So I made it. And Spirit says it takes energy to get energy. So someone may need to hear that message right now. You may be someone that need that message right now. You may be someone that is feeling very low in energy. And you kind of feel like you don't know if you should do X, if you should do Y, if you should do Z. And when Spirit spoke to me and said, it takes energy to get energy, it took me a minute to think about what was being said. And then when I really thought about it, I was like, oh, that's what you mean. It took a lot more energy to make that fresh raw juice that I made. And in actuality, that energy it took me to make that juice is what was going to give me more energy for that day, if that makes any sense. Like the enzymes and the nutrients in that juice is what my body needed to have more energy in that day. But before I was able to make it, it was just like, it was a challenge. It was a challenge getting myself to make what was essentially good for me. It was a challenge bringing myself to do that work. And it wasn't really that much of a challenge because like I've learned, I'm at a point now in my spiritual walk where I've learned to listen to, Spirit when Spirit speaks to me. Like I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be stubborn. And so I shut down that noise that made me think that my body was too tired to make that juice, and I made it. Okay? Someone may need to hear that. Someone may need to hear that. You could be tired, and your spirit is telling you this is what you ought to do. Okay? This is what you ought to do. Yet there's another path that is, speaking to you. That other path takes a lot less work. That other path takes a lot less energy. And the message that I'm getting for someone that's listening to this is it takes energy to get energy. It takes energy to get energy. Like if you are not willing to put in the work to get what you want, and that's part of it. That's part of it because, like one circumstance, can have a lot of different lessons. Part of it is if you're not willing to do the work, and notice the key word here is willpower. The key word is willpower. If you're not willing to do the work, it's going to be challenging for you to see the results. And there's no judgment here. Okay, just know that there's no judgment here because we are all at different points in our spiritual walk. And this is not a conversation where I'm trying to convince you to be this way or that way. Okay, I'm at a point in my spiritual walk where I am done convincing anyone to be anything. Part of it is because I have enough respect for myself to know that I don't really vibe with people who try to convince me to be something I'm not. So what I try to do is not do the same thing, if that makes sense. So someone may need to hear that. It takes energy to get energy. The work that you may not be willing to do is exactly what it is, that is exactly what you need for you to have life. Because energy is life. Life is energy. And if we're on that subject of energy and life, think about the entity that represents the highest vibrational force in the universe, the sun. The sun is all energy. The sun is all energy. If the sun ceases to exist, y'all, there would be no life on this planet. Like literally, if the sun, didn't shine for like, I don't know how many, X amount of hours, we could talk to the scientists that know the exact, information. If the sun ceases to shine, like, let's just be real, like real talk for a second. Let's just keep it a bean, like we say, keep it 100, right? When the sun doesn't shine for even 2 days, think about how you feel. Think about the energy that you associate with that. When it just ceases to shine just for 2 days, think of what happens to you psychologically as well as physically. Okay? And so we're keeping on that subject of energy. The sun provides energy. The sun is energy. And so the message that I receive for some of you who are just joining in, it takes energy to get energy. All right? It takes energy to get energy. So I did end up making that, that juice that, my spirit was like, go ahead, make that juice. All right. So, I peeled and, I don't have a juicer yet. All right. So I made it old school. I just made it old school. I peeled my grapefruit. I peeled my grapefruit and I squeezed it. Actually, no, this time I didn't squeeze it. What I ended up doing was I did compromise a little bit. I ended up blending it. Okay. So I ended up blending the grapefruit in a little bit of water. And it's usually not how I like the juice because I like the pure grapefruit juice. Okay, and FYI, grapefruit is an excellent source of vitamin C. And the point of this, y'all, is that that day that I ended up, making the juice, I listened to my spirit and I took the time and energy to make that juice. Like later on during the evening, I kind of like, started feeling like, oh, there was something coming on. Like the sniffles. It's that time of year. And don't you know, the vitamin C in that grapefruit was what my body needed to combat whatever it was that's out there. So a lot of times, when our spirit speaks to us, we don't fully know why it is that our spirit says, listen, go left, don't go right. Okay? We don't always know when our spirit tells us, like, leave that there. Don't take it with you. Or our spirit tell us, that person is not really, going to help you to grow. It's time for you to, a lot of times we're not really sure why. Spirit says, like, you've outgrown something, someone, or it's time for you to just, sever ties or whatever it is. We're not always sure why spirit says to move in the directions that we move. And a lot of times we don't find out, for some folks, they don't find out until it's too late. Okay. And, it's like, and I'm not even sure if it's a goal, but for lack of a better term, I'm going to say goal. The goal is to move to a place in your spiritual walk where you listen, you listen and you're not stubborn when spirit is speaking to you. And part of being able to listen is quieting down, your energy. Like if you're always, just hype and, you're always quick to react, like there's no sense of calm there. And it's going to be challenging for you to listen to the voice of your spirit guides. If you have the wrong types of people in your energy, it's going to be challenging to listen to the voice of your spirit guides. So, I get a lot of questions from folks like, on this channel, how do I connect with spirit? How do I get closer to my ancestors? And a huge part of it is shutting out the noise. Okay. A huge part of it is shutting out that noise so that way you can hear, because what that noise sometimes tries to convince you, that noise will be the thing that will try to convince you to not listen to spirit. It will try to convince you that there is, you know, to go on that 3-dimensional level instead of going to the 5-dimensional level. That's what that noise will do. That's why it's called noise. And that noise is, it can be symbolic of anything. It could be a person. It could be a place. It could actually be your energy. A lot of times we don't realize that it's us standing in our way. Okay? It's us standing in the way. And the thing is, you gotta, some of y'all don't realize like what what folks had to go through to become the person that they are. Like, folks were not just spiritual overnight, y'all. You know, the people that you see that are walking a spiritual path, that are walking a path, they didn't just get there overnight. Like some of us have to, like, we had to really, really, okay, it was some tough, challenging situations, y'all. Like, a lot of you right now, you could be seeing the end result of, you know, someone's work. And it tends to be that way. A lot of folks don't see the hard part of that spiritual walk. You know, they see the glitz, they see the glamour, they see you, you know, speaking that verbiage that shows that, you know, you've done some kind of work. Okay? Like, you can look at someone and you're like, yeah, they've done some kind of work, yet you don't know what they had to do to get there. You don't know what they had to do to get there. You don't know the kind of work, okay, that they had to do within themselves to get to where they are. And that's the part a lot of folks are not, they're not wanting to comprehend. They're not wanting to, you know, grasp their mind around the work that is necessary for you to get to where you want to go. They want to do the physical work, okay? But the spiritual work is a lot more challenging, yet it's a lot more rewarding. The spiritual work is not work that someone's going to give you the formula for it. And that's part of what makes it challenging, because you have folks who are so used to being told what to do all their lives. When it comes to them choosing for themselves, choosing the path for themselves, it's hard, it's challenging, because they're so used to the noise. They're so used to someone telling them exactly what to do. And so when they get to the point where they have no one telling them what to do, they don't know what to do. There's a lot of folks out there, y'all, that have no idea how to think for themselves, y'all. And this is no judgment at all. This is no judgment at all. If you're in that space, like, I get it. Okay, I get it. And just know that it's like, it gotta start with like you being authentically you and no one else. As long as someone is whispering noises into your ear, right, that are not your own thoughts. All right. And I'm not saying that listening to people give you guidance is a bad thing, because there's a place and space for that, right? There's a space and place for that. Like, there is a point in your spiritual walk where it is necessary, depending on where you are, to have that guidance, especially if you're in a space where you're not able to, I don't want to say to think for yourself. Some folks, maybe it is. You may not be in a space where you feel spiritually secure yet. That's what it is, right? And so there is a time and space where it is necessary to have that guidance that is outside of yourself. We all need guidance, y'all. Okay? It's none of us, I've said it before, it's none of us that was born, knowing this stuff. All right? It's none of us that was born knowing this stuff. Like, we just came out the womb and we were just like, we're like the waterbender. If you've ever seen, y'all seen the waterbender, I love those type of movies. You just came out the womb and then, you just like Aang. I think it was Aang that was alchemizing like the waterbender and no, it was the airbender. My bad. See, nobody came out the womb, waterbending and alchemizing and, speaking the right verbiage. Nobody came out like that. It took work. So regardless of where you are in your spiritual walk, all right, regardless of where you are in your spiritual walk, just know that it's going to take energy for you to move out from where you're at, okay, to a place where you feel like, okay, this is more like me, like, an elevated space. And everyone has their own, path. All right. Someone could be, vibrating at the level where, it's like they need that guidance and they cool. They like, okay, like there could be some folks, right, that are listening right now that could feel like, yeah, you know what? I was at the point where I wasn't listening to anyone before, and now I'm seeking guidance, and this is where I'm comfortable in my elevation. And then you have folks that are like, okay, yeah, I like listening to this. Yet at the same time, I want to know how to think for myself. I want to know how to, but the truth is, y'all, everyone, okay, has had a teacher in their spiritual walk. No one was born knowing. No one was born all knowing. Everyone has had someone teaching them. And the goal is when you get, when you receive, you give. That is the law of the universe, reciprocity. When you receive from someone, or when you receive from the universe, you give. Not everyone will understand that. Some of us, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm connected to the laws of nature. I know how nature works. Okay, nature is all in the business of recycling. Nature never throws anything away. If you're connected to nature, you know that, right? Nature is not in the business of throwing anything away. Everything has a purpose. It has a use. That banana that you eat the banana, it nourishes your body, and then the peel can be cut up and then put into the earth and used as a fertilizer to nourish the earth that will then give life to something else. Reciprocity. Reciprocity. So as you receive, continue to give. Continue to give. Give to someone else. Give words of wisdom. Give words of encouragement. Like folks think that, physical nourishment is all folks need. Like, there are some folks that need a lot more than food. In fact, some of us could really stand to fast and, withhold from physical nourishment so that way we can elevate ourselves spiritually. Folks are in need of a lot more than physical nourishment, although there's a lot of folks that need that physical nourishment. So there's a lot of ways that you can give back once you receive. And that's your way of saying thank you to the universe. Thank you, to the earth. Like learn to say thank you to the universe. Learn to say thank you to the earth before you step out. Speak to that earth that you're about to walk on. Ask Mother Earth to guide you in the path that you ought to go. Learn to speak to the elements. They talk back. Speak to the elements. They talk back. Speak to the wind. It will talk back to you. Some of y'all think this is far-fetched. And I'm only telling you what I've experienced. I'm not going to make up something that I don't know about. Okay? I'm not in the business of doing that. I'm not in the business of trying to impress y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all for real, but I'm not in the business of trying to impress you. I'm doing the work that I've been given to do. Okay? So continue to give back as you receive, and One of the ways that you do that is you get to understand that it takes energy. It takes energy to first give to yourself and then give to others. Y'all heard my little juice example. I had to get over that. Okay, I'm tired. I'm just gonna make a cup of tea. And Spirit was like, now you know you need that. I don't know what I need it for. Okay, just make that juice. I told you to make it, and I did. And then later on in the day, I found out why and all that stuff. Okay, so we are on the subject of energy today. Okay, we are on the subject of energy. Energy is important. Energy can be felt on a cellular level. The sun definitely, nourishes us on a cellular level, right? The sun nourishes every cell in our body. And with the subject of energy, it's important to know that your energy right now is important. Okay? It's important to have the right kind of energy. One thing in regards to energy that I was thinking about, and I wrote some things down, so just don't mind me. I'm just looking at some of the things that I wrote down. A lot of folks wonder why it is that certain people have the energy to do certain things while perhaps they don't feel like they have the energy. Part of the reason why certain people have the energy to do things and certain don't, it has to do with willpower. And believe it or not, that's something that you work on. Like energy, with in its essence, the essence of the word, it means work. Okay? Energy means, some type of motion, some type of movement. It means that you're not sedentary, that you're not sitting. And that's very important for some of us because we've moved in a time now where it's so, like, being sedentary is promoted. Like, we talking about Netflix and chill, and then all you do is chill and eat. You don't go out and get some sun. You on your screen and you okay. It's time for us to revitalize our energy. Revitalize it. Because if we're wondering why we don't have the energy to do X, Y, and Z, part of it is because energy takes work. It takes willpower. It takes you actually being aware of your circumstance as well. Being aware. Like, wait a minute, I feel like I haven't stretched in a minute. Like, how long have I been sitting? Did I go out and get some sun? Like, it's really asking ourselves the questions, to ourselves. Like, I know they say that it's weird to talk to yourself. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It ain't weird. Okay, ask yourself this, like, how long have I been sitting? Okay, what do I need right now? What does my body need right now? Did I get enough water? Like, did I drink enough water today? How long have I been on my phone for? How long have I been scrolling on this screen? How long have my eyes been fixated on this screen? Does it need a break? Okay, do I need to go out and get some fresh air? Like, those type of questions, y'all. Because, like, we have gotten to a place where we're learning to be sedentary. We're learning to be non-moving. We're learning to be without energy, y'all. And a person without energy is without motion, is without movement, is without life. Think about that. You living in a society that's literally promoting death, not life. And a lot of us don't even think about it. We just think, oh, okay, I'm comfortable in the house. I'm Netflix and chilling. I got my snacks. I got this, da-da-da. Hi, Gwendolyn. Good to see you. Hey, Miss Thing. Good to see you. Welcome to the live. So, energy. And speaking of energy, it's important that we remember to connect with the sun. I'm always saying that here, y'all. Now, in places where the sun shines continuously, there's no problem with that. You have no issue connecting with the sun, because the sun is like all up, all up in your face. Now, in spaces where, that don't get as much sun, we have to make a lot more effort to connect with the sun. As I was giving that example before, like when you don't connect with the sun, think about how you feel. When you don't see the sun for like a day or two, like think about how you feel. Yet a lot of us choose to stay, in the shadows instead of getting sunlight, which is full of vitamin, was it D3, which is really, really good for your immune system, okay? Which builds your immune system. So it's time for us to get our energy up, y'all. And, there's different ways of doing that. Making sure we eat the right kind of foods. Definitely making sure we eat the right kind of foods. Like living foods. Trying to eat foods that come from the earth. Eat more of those types of foods. Drinking a lot more water. Connecting with the earth. Connecting with the elements. Like those are all ways that we can increase our energy, y'all. And I know some of y'all, this sounds like, all right. So, and you know what else? I wrote down something that I want to address. Okay, because we are on the subject of energy. Okay. Speaking of energy, all right. For those that choose to do the work, for those that develop the willpower, develop the energy to do the work that they get to do to elevate themselves. What I'm going to say is important, especially for you right now, because many of y'all who are actually willing to do that work, that are willing to put the energy in to transform your life, so that way you see some sort of spiritual elevation, be cautious of energy vampires. That's the other thing that I was getting. Be cautious of energy vampires. And Spirit was working with me in terms of like who energy vampires are and why they're called energy vampires. And some of you have those types of people in your energy. You have those types of people in your surrounding that want to cling to you, that want to attach to you. They want your energy. They want your light. Okay? And anyone that loves and cares about you, please know this. Anyone that loves and cares about you, regardless of the role that you play in society, regardless of the responsibility you have as a chosen, as someone who is accomplishing a task, anyone who loves and cares about you is also going to respect your energy. As a chosen, please hear me. Because a lot of us, we have this like, this martyr attitude, that self-sacrificing attitude, thinking that we got to sacrifice ourselves and our energies so that way we, for the betterment of man. How you gonna do the will of the divine if you ain't here, G? Like, the math ain't mathin'. If you got work to do, you have a purpose. How are you going to do the work if you don't have the energy to do it? If you allow others to, basically siphon your energy. So I'm going to say this to y'all, like, be cautious of that. And I feel like, I might not be speaking to the person that's not willing to step back away from, people that are taking too much of their energy. And please be mindful, okay? When I say energy vampires, sometimes an energy vampire may not even know that they're an energy vampire. Like, they're not coming at you literally trying to siphon your energy, trying to pull at your energy on purpose. This could be the kind of person that's extremely, needy, that's they're always wanting something from you, that they're not respectful of your time and your energy. Like, the person that loves and cares about you, that is conscious of your energy, is going to know when to step back. They're going to know when, oh, you know what? I think I'm just overexerting myself on this person. They will know when to step back. So energy vampires are not always like, this gruesome, like Chloe type of person, that you may imagine in the movies, that's coming at you, with fangs, and they're like, I want to suck your blood. Sometimes they are. All right. Like, those movies that y'all watch, with the vampires, and they're just coming at you in these dark outfits. They don't always look like that, y'all. An energy vampire could be that sweet little old lady that's just like, that's always, pulling at your energy because they're always wanting something. Like, they're not a lot of them, okay? A lot of them don't know that they're energy vampires. A lot of them do. A lot of them are very much aware, and they're very conscious that they're literally coming at you because they want your energy, they want your light, they want what you have, they want your gift. They're very conscious of who they are as energy vampires. Okay? And they purposefully come to you to take of your energy. And what makes them an energy vampire specifically is that they're wanting to take and take and take, and they ain't putting nothing in the pot, y'all. What pot? What are you talking about? The only pot that exists is theirs. They're like, give, take. Like, that's how they function. Okay? So some of these folks are intentionally that way. And some folks, they're not intentional with being energy vampires. There are some folks that are not, they're not willing to do the work, and they see someone who is willing to do the work, and they attach themselves to that person. And by merely attaching themselves to someone who is doing the work, that's how, like, their mind works. Like, that's how they think that they're actually working, is because now they're associated with someone who's doing. There's no way that you can get this work done without doing it yourself. Someone needed to hear this. There's no way that you can get this work done without doing it yourself. It is going to take energy. Like, associating with yourself with someone who's doing the work is not doing the work. It'll make you feel good. At the end of the day, it'll give you that, that good old feeling that, that you did something. Okay, you listen to that podcast, and that podcast, just elevated your energy, but you haven't done the work. You have not done the work yet. That's not doing the work. Someone needed to hear that. Doing the work is actually actually facing yourself. It's asking yourself the tough questions that you may be hesitant to ask. And for some of y'all, that the tough questions that you get to ask is, what role are you playing in the conditions that exist in your life? That's the tough question. Listening to a podcast, listening to someone, spit words of positivity into your life, that's not the work, y'all. I'm sorry to, burst somebody's bubble that probably just listened to a podcast and is feeling really nice. Okay? Some of y'all are like, you're not wanting to do the work, or you don't want to, you want someone else to do it for you, because that's the society we're living in now. Let's get it quick. Let's get it done quick. The only thing you can't get done quick, fast, in a hurry is that spiritual walk. Yeah, you got to go through it. You got to do the work. You got to do the work. And anyone you see who exemplifies that energy, they didn't just get it overnight. So respect that. And, people that have done the work, they will respect it. Some won't. That's just the nature of man. Some folks, they in their ego, they're not going to respect, someone's journey and this, that, and the third. You're always going to have those type of folks. But respect it. Okay? Respect is a law of nature. To have respect, it is a law of nature. And when you connect with nature, you will understand that aspect. Okay? There's a saying in Haitian that goes, "Sa pa konnen pi gran paseo." In Haitian, the saying is, "Sa pa konnen pi gran paseo." And the saying is really that there's always more to learn. That's how I interpret it. There's always more to learn. Respect everyone's journey. Respect where each person is in their walk. Especially some of these folks, that have been in the spiritual game for a long time, and then you got the babies that are just coming out, and they in their egos, they want to. There's that too, y'all. There's some folks that have been in this spiritual walk for quite some time and still haven't learned, y'all. So the number of years is not indicative of what you know. The number of years is not indicative of what you know and where you are in your spiritual walk. What is really an indicator is this: your spirit, your soul. Is it pure? Is it pure? Is it doing this, to show off? Is it doing this to manipulate others and to control others? Is that why you're doing it? Because it's going to show. It's going to show. Your intentions are going to be shown through the work and through the things that you do. Like, nothing is really hidden in the spirit realm. That's the funny thing. It's unseen, yet everything that is spiritual, you'll see it in the physical. Like, folks think that they can hide their intentions. They could hide, their true intentions. Like, it's going to come out. Your reason for, studying this craft, you really want to, control the minds of others, and you presenting it as, okay, righteous and this, that, it's going to come out. Mother Moon has a tendency to reveal all things. That's what the moon does. Mother Moon has a tendency to reveal people's deepest intentions, y'all. So it's like, that's why sometimes it's good when you're dealing with someone to step back a little bit, okay? To really don't rush in, okay? Especially some of y'all who are new in your spiritual walk, and, someone comes in your energy and it's like they have the robe of spirituality, on them. They look like they've been doing this thing for such a long time, and here you are, you're just a babe. You're like, oh hey, oh, here you are, like you're bending down. You're like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, I wish I could be in that space, in that place. And then when you're looking at that person, like literally all you see is this person glowing, in their full gown and this, that, and the third. Be careful with that, because some people, when they see that you are in a space where you are just learning, those people, regardless of how many years they've been doing this so-called spiritual stuff, they can be energy vampires as well. Y'all didn't know that energy vampires can wear the cloak of spirituality. They can. Okay? They see someone that could do their bidding, and so they use whatever knowledge that they have, and they use it to try to control those who are less than, who are just starting out, who are just babies. Literally what they see is fresh blood. Okay? That's why they're energy vampires. Like some of these so-called spiritual folks out there, best believe, like their heart's not pure. They're not doing this, to elevate themselves, and they're doing it to see how many people they can control, how many people they can get under, they can dominate, how many people they can get to follow them. They want to lead a this, they want to lead a that, and then massive control, massive power, this, that, and the third, and those are the folks that get humbled. Those are the folks that get humbled by spirit right quick, because it's like, you really doing this? Like, you portray yourself as someone who's highly spiritual, and you're giving off the vibes of someone who's like, and yet your true intention is to, those kind of folks get humbled real quick. Okay? They get humbled real quick, especially when they're dealing with someone who's chosen. And many of you chosen out there, you dealt with people like that. You dealt with people who saw you in your naive state, in the period of time where you didn't know as much as you do now. Okay? Some of y'all, a lot of you chosen, you dealt with people like that. And guess what? They knew you were chosen. And part of the reason why they're energy vampires is because they wanted to use your energy as a chosen seed to do whatever work that they needed to do. That's what makes these folks energy vampires. And a lot of you chosen out there, you dealt, with some folks like that, unfortunately. Folks that met you in a period of time where you were not awakened. They came to take advantage of your energy, your purpose, your path. All right? They cloaked themselves as someone or people who were highly spiritual, yet their souls were not right. Some of y'all were dealing with, energy vampires that didn't look like energy vampires. I mean, they're not supposed to look like energy vampires, because that's how they're able to siphon your energy. Okay? So be cautious. Take care of your energy. Your energy is your power. Your energy is something that no one can take from you unless you give it. Your energy is something that no one can take from you unless you allow it. So, who are you allowing to take of your energy? Some of y'all, is it Netflix? That was a joke, y'all. I do crack jokes sometimes. Is it Netflix that's got you seated on that couch for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and you like, wait, I was supposed to read that book on abundance, Wait, I was supposed to read such and such. Wait, I was supposed to journal. And then you just found yourself sitting on that couch or wherever it is you're sitting and just watching Netflix for hours. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, dang, the day is like done and I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. What happened? Energy vampire. Yes, energy vampires come in all forms, all shapes and sizes. They keep us from doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. Or I'm going to rephrase that. We allow them. We allow them. So remember, like, no one can take of your energy unless you allow it. And your energy is priceless. That's what you have. Your energy is your life force. As they say, your chi. Is that what it is? Your ka. Am I saying that right? Okay. You say you're dealing with this, Patty? Yeah, a lot of us have dealt with that. A lot of us have dealt with energy vampires. Infinite, you said, namaste. It's happening with you. It's happened before. You said it's happening with you. Why it's all happened. Okay, you are dealing with energy vampires too. Yeah, it's like, if we're really honest with ourselves, I think, a lot of us have dealt with energy vampires to some extent. Especially folks that see you, especially folks that met you at the point where you could have possibly just been getting in your spiritual walk. When you're just brand new to this, that's when a lot of these folks, like, it's almost like they can smell it. They can tell that, that your intuition is not quite there. They can see that. And a lot of these folks use your energy to do their bidding, to do their work, to accomplish their tasks. Like, there are folks out there, y'all, that literally do spells on people and make them turn into their puppets to be able to do what they will. Okay, they pull the string and make them do what they will. There are people like that. Well, you mean to tell me, like, you call yourself spiritual, and yet the way that you get someone to help you is to manipulate them spiritually, is to do spell work on them, magic? What? You're not really that powerful. If that's what you got to do. The real power is learning to connect with people on a human level. You can't do that. You ain't got no real power. Come on now. You got to use spell work to do that? Okay. A lot of folks don't like that. A lot of folks don't like that, Like, they don't like those conversations. You said, Tammy, you have haters, not followers. I'm reading some comments, y'all. Chime in. Let me know. Let me know what y'all think. Okay, let me know what y'all think. I love to read your comments. Critical love. Yes. Truth is clarity, indeed. Truth is clarity, indeed. Ashe, Celestine. All right, y'all. So, stay tuned in because I'm going to be doing a reading. Or I should just actually, should I just do the reading now or should I do a different one? Oh, I wanted to make an announcement for I received some inquiry from some folks that wanted to do like a reading live. Okay. I will go back to doing the live readings. If you are like, meaning during the lives, I do the readings. You know, if someone is interested in me pulling a card or cards or doing a one question reading. Okay. I will go back to doing that if you're interested. So if you are, I don't think I see the person that sent the email about that. So if you are interested in the live reading, meaning a reading during the live, let me know. Send me an inquiry. And if enough people are interested, y'all, if enough people are interested in doing the readings during the live, if you have a one question, I'd be willing to do one question readings. Does anyone have any inquiries like that? If not, we can move into the collective energy. All right, so what I'll do is I'm going to put the information on here. I am going to put the information on here. So if you're interested in a one question reading, I think I did see someone had a question at the beginning of the live. So if you have a one question inquiry, I'm going to take that. Hold on one second. Okay, y'all. Okay. So if anyone who's interested in a one or two question reading, I just put the information in there and I think I can pin it. Okay, I think I just pinned it. So it's 22 per question. All right. And my one question readings are very, very detailed. So if you're interested in a one question reading before the live is over, actually, you know what? Why don't, okay, I'm going to do it by, I'm going to do it by donation. How about that? I know some folks mentioned that, you know, there are some like challenges and stuff. Okay. Some economic challenges, and I want to be accommodating to that. So if you have, if you have a one question, I'm going to put by donation. All right. How about that? Okay, y'all. By donation. Yeah, I think that resonates better for some folks, cuz I get it, y'all. Like the economic situation everywhere. It's not up to par. It's not what it should be. So we'll do 22. for personal readings. Well, we'll do it like this. It's 22 if you have more than one questions. Okay. If you just have one question, we'll do one question by donation, just to give everybody a chance to to ask at least one question. And I'll take 10. We'll say first 10. We'll say first 10 by donation, y'all. Did I write that right? Okay, there you go. Okay. All right, let's shuffle the cards. Get ready, y'all. Get ready with your questions. So if you when you send in your donation, also send it with your questions, okay? And I'll be on here probably for another 20 minutes. Maybe less, depending on who asks. Okay, we're gonna check to see what's showing up in your energy. Cortez, Ashe, you have a question, Cortez? Or perhaps you, oh, I didn't tell folks that they can send a super chat too. So, thank you for the super chat, Cortez. Let me know what your question is. You don't have a question, Cortez? Okay, so I can just check to see what's in your energy. Give me a thumbs up if that is, what was my name in one of my par lives in Egypt? Your name? Oh, I don't know about names. Let's see. Let's see, Cortez. I don't know about the names. But I can tell you about your energy, okay? So I'm going to see what energy is showing up for you, okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing is the Five of Cups. And the first energy that I'm getting is the energy of something that was taken from someone. Something that was taken from someone, or this could be you, or this could be someone connected to you. I'm seeing also the Knight of Swords, Cortez. Okay. See, that's that's interesting. I'm also like, for whatever reason, I feel like this is connected to that like energy. It's connected to some sort of energy. So your question regarding your name, is giving an energy of like this is the first thing that I'm getting, that some energy was taken. The energy could have been taken from you or someone else. It could have been that the energy was connected to that name, and something happened, possibly in your lineage. And I'm also getting this Four of Pentacles here. So it's giving the energy of someone kind of like fighting to keep something that's theirs. Okay? Someone fighting to keep, what I'm hearing is someone fighting to keep your heritage. Okay? So you could be someone who is fighting to keep something about that heritage that you are connected to in your past. All right. You could be showing up in this Knight of Swords energy. Like, okay, you could possibly have a very strong Ogu energy with you. Okay. You are someone you're a fighter. Okay. You're a fighter who's fighting to keep something about your heritage, your lineage, where you come from. And you're also someone who's not fighting for you, you're fighting for others as well. That's what I'm getting from this energy, because this energy right here it's not someone who stays complacent. And it's interesting that we were talking about energy, and this is what shows up for you. All right. You are someone who was fighting, in your past. Okay, you could have had a past life, or you reincarnated as, some warrior who's a fighter. Okay, I'm getting the energy of someone, like something precious, like that they tried to take from you, about your lineage, your past, your energy, and you've been fighting to keep this. Okay, you've been fighting to keep this. And with this Knight of Wands energy showing up, this is indicative of energy. Okay, so all these night energies that I'm seeing show up for you, it's telling me that you're not someone who's just sedentary. Like you're working for a specific cause. All right, and there's some folks that are showing up in your energy that may not want you to be doing whatever it is that you're doing. Whatever work or purpose that you have been assigned to, or you assigned yourself to, there are energies that don't see that. There are energies that don't want this. They want it. That energy that you have, whatever it is that you're doing, somebody wants it. They're trying to take it. You see that? Like, even before, if you notice, even before this energy showed up, it already showed you that you may have a significant like mother energy that's helping you, a divine feminine energy, possibly connected to this past that you refer to, that's assisting you with your journey as a fighter, as a warrior. Okay, you have a very strong Ogu energy showing up for you. Ogu, like the warrior, the fighter. And you know what? You've been fighting for quite some time. You've been fighting for quite some time. You've been fighting entities such as this who are trying to bind people, blind people. Like I'm seeing that you represent someone like that. It could be now or it could be in your past. Like I'm seeing past life energy. Okay, like it's giving me the energy of someone who has come back, or perhaps this energy was passed down to you, okay, from your lineage, okay? So, okay, you are, I'm getting the energy of like you could be someone who is mastering the elements. You're fighting for it, you're working for it or towards it. Um, be cautious of this energy though. Okay? Be cautious of this energy. This could represent someone, and this could also represent like an ego aspect of you. Someone that, some energy that is trying to convince you, that is pulling at your energy. It's showing up as noise, okay? It's showing up as noise. It's also showing up as something trying to get at your conscience, to pull you towards a side that you're not supposed to go towards, and perhaps you haven't figured that out yet. Okay, it's possible that you have not figured that out yet, that whatever side that this energy is trying to pull you towards, it may be that I'm just getting it, maybe that you're still dealing with this energy. You're still dealing with this thing that's trying to pull you towards this way or whatever way it is, and then it's like there's somewhere that your spirit guides definitely want you to be. I'm getting a lot of like feminine energy here. It could be a feminine energy that has, that serves as this, okay? All right. It could be a feminine energy in your energy, and at the same time, I'm also seeing like you have some strong feminine energy showing up here. Some really, really positive, like positive ones, really strong, solid ones, and some of them not so solid. Okay, so be cautious. Be cautious. Okay? Be cautious, especially of this particular one. And there's a reason why she's showing up in this energy, because there's some aspect of your ego stroking. There's some aspect of your ego, some internal thing that this person can literally, it could be giving that they know how to pull on your string. Okay, be cautious of that. All right. So that name, that may not be the pressing thing that your spirit guides want you to know at this time. Okay, Cartez. And I'm getting that the answers that you seek are gonna come to you. It's also that it may not be something that your guides want revealed to others until you've done the work that you get to do. You understand? Like there's a lot of power in the name, Cartez. And not every name is supposed to, not everyone is supposed to know. It's not every name that's supposed to be known, if that makes any sense. Okay? That name, whatever that name is, it's going to be revealed to you in a dream. Okay? It's not meant for the collective to know. Not at this time, especially having to do with your purpose, your goals, whatever it is that you're doing. There could be people that are watching you at this time, and that name is not supposed to be revealed, not like this. Okay? All right. It resonates. Okay. All right, y'all. Any other questions? Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna pull one more card for you, Cortez, to see what words of wisdom that your ancestors have for you. Regarding this energy that showed up. Okay, anything else? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you definitely have a lot of sun energy. Like the sun was just like, your life path, you could be a life path one. Like your life path could be one. Like you vibrate with the sun. You vibrate with a lot of fire in your energy. Okay, and perhaps that's why I was picking up that energy, you know, for you. So this is an energy, Cortez, of positivity. This is an energy of light. This is an energy of truth being revealed. And recall right before this, I said, your name is going to be revealed to you in a dream, and the sun shows up, which is an energy of revelations. It's an energy of truth coming out. So that question that you ask, this is confirmation for me that it's going to be revealed to you, or more information regarding what was just said to you. You're going to know the truth. Okay. Like, I feel like this is just surface. Whatever information was revealed for you is just surface. There's a lot more that's going to be revealed to you. It's going to be illuminated. Okay. This is definitely a beautiful energy. Okay, right after that, I'm seeing Mother God. Okay, it's definitely giving Oshun energy. Okay, there's somebody possibly in your lineage, or you. There's definitely some, you know, Venus Oshun energy here that you vibrating with. Yeah, and that's balance for me, right? The sun showing up, and then that, you know, that energy, that feminine aspect. It's masculine, feminine, balance. Yeah. You gonna get a lot more answers. The spirit realm definitely want to talk to you, or they're gonna reveal more. Okay. They're gonna reveal more. All right, Cortez. I hope that helps. Okay, y'all. Any other questions? Before we get off the live. Okay, resonates. Hey, that's what's up. Someone else had a question. Who was it? Did you send a donation? I'm not able to read that. Something service. So I'm doing readings by donation, or if you'd like a personal reading. Oh, okay. Spirit guides are saying, give and you shall receive. So I'm doing readings by donation. Something service. It's a long name. So you're welcome to send a super chat, or you can send in the donation. So I'm just going to post it again for some of y'all that didn't get it. So that's the information. Nady. So it says 2222, but I'm also welcoming just, you know, any donation that you have. I'm only gonna be on here for like maybe 5 more minutes, y'all, because I've been on here for a minute, and I am going to move on to some other things. Some other life stuff. All right, so if you do not have any more questions, we will close the chat really soon. Ashe, Cortez. All right, y'all. 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes to get your questions in, and then I'm going to close up. Okay, y'all. I don't see any other requests. Thank you to everyone who joined the live, okay, who participated on the lives. Thank you, live. Thank you for your donations. Thank you to all who became channel members. Oh, FYI, you can become a channel member. That's part of how you can get free readings if you're interested in getting free readings. Some of you. All information is, you know, you can find information on getting free readings by clicking join, and you'll see all the information. So thank you to everyone who joined the live, who became channel members, all the new subscribers, all your comments, y'all. There's so many different ways that you can contribute to this channel. Okay. It's not just money. All right. So your energy, your time, your likes, your comments, all of that make the channel what it is. So give and receive. Thank you for you know, for having our community grow. That's what I receive. So ashe to that. Thank you, y'all. And continue to be great. Continue to continue to work on self. Okay, continue to work on self, because it's always work in progress. All right, it's always work in progress. All right. Ashe, peace, love, and divine light, y'all.